Yes, guys, we're back again with Jade Skillen, Hyrox Master Trainer, who's going to give us her top Hyrox tips for the running. Now, we've spoken about all the stations, but really and truly running makes up the majority of Hyrox, right?
Absolutely. I think the running sections of Hyrox, especially when you're coming into Hyrox for the first time, I think one of the biggest things to understand is essentially some people see it as a bit of a glorified interval session. But what we have to understand when we go into our Hyrox events is that running is going to be very, very compromised. So if you have a little bit of a running background, for example, or you're used to running a couple of 5 or 10Ks, it's really important to kind of like not have a goal pace in mind, because you're not going to know how your body adjusts and adapts to kind of like lactic buildup and things like that, e.g. the sleds, etc. So I think it's really important to go with an open mind, especially into your first event. Use, you're running almost as recovery between the stations, maybe is a great approach for your first race. And that gives you a good understanding then of looking at your splits after the race. And then you can kind of go into it and you can see what's happening on those runs, see what paces you were holding. But my best advice is to build pace into the race. Don't start too fast and then obviously see your splits just getting slower and slower every time, because inevitably, if you do go out too hot, that is going to happen. Monitor heart rate as well. Sometimes some people like to, just look at their heart rate, and, if you're sitting in red, sometimes that's a good indicator to kind of like just bring the pace back slightly, because, it is, at the end of the day, it's going to be for most people between a 70-minute to a 90-minute event. So yeah, my top tip would be to don't treat it as a normal run or intervals you'd do in a non-compromised setting. Just surrender to the process of what is with the running, and then, from your first event, you can then make those changes and the training that you need to put that running into a compromised setting for sure.
Cool. So don't go out too hot.
Yep.
Don't have any expectations based on runs you might have done in the past, and
sure.
monitor your intensity.
Yep, 100%.